Bonjour les amis, j'ai besoin de vos dons, alors n'hésitez pas à m'en envoyer. L'adresse c'est tinyurl.com/bestofdon, tinyurl.com/bestofdon au pluriel, ou alors don au pluriel .notretortureestréelle.com. Et oui, j'ai besoin d'environ 120 € par mois pour mon fonctionnement, pour faire mes lives. Actuellement, j'ai environ déjà 25 € tous les mois, mais il m'en manque une centaine. Et oui, je me suis acheté des écrans, une carte graphique, de la mémoire, un SSD, un micro, un bras, des câbles, une interface audio. Et je n'ai toujours pas passé mon permis et je voudrais me mettre en refuge quelques mois dans un pays sûr. Et donc je vais avoir besoin de payer le code, la conduite, un visa et un billet d'avion. Alors j'ai besoin de vous. Je vous rappelle l'adresse, c'est tinyurl.com/bestofdon au pluriel ou don au pluriel .notretortureestréelle.com. Et je vous invite à me rejoindre sur mes plateformes, sur le canal Telegram Best of Computer Live et le groupe de discussion au terrier du lapin blanc. Et vous avez bien sûr mon VK, mon CrowdBunker, mon YouTube, mon Twitter, mon Facebook, mon Rumble, mon Twitch, etc. Et puis je vais continuer les émissions tous les samedis à 21h, la vérité en question vue du Star Force Café, et tous les jeudis à 20h il y aura un nouveau mini-live qui s'appellera le retour du Jedi, parce que je faisais des émissions le jeudi avant et là je vais en refaire, mais je serai comme un chevalier Jedi contre l'état profond, et donc ça sera le retour du Jedi. Et à 21h tous les jeudis je vais continuer la séance de cinéma des ciblés du Truman Show. Je compte sur vous. À plus.
Eh bien, bonsoir, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is my Sunday night show with a very important whistleblower from the UK, Mark Steele. And maybe some of you know him because I have already talked about him in my article from 2023. And of course, we are going to talk about something connected with the bio-nano electromagnetic weapons, because we are going to talk about 5G, we are going to talk about LED lighting in the streets, and we are going to talk about a new kind of weapons that are being deployed in modern cities, like in London. And I'm going to show you on the screen first, before showing you my guest, some elements of his presence on the web. So you can see here, this is the article I made, and there is this photograph, and here there is a summarize I did about his work. I was following from 2020 to 2020. And of course, he's an expert about weapons, and he's also a scientist and an engineer. And I had written a little biodata for him. So he's a British engineer, an inventor, a patent writer, and weapons research scientist. An engineer with a materials science background, an inventor of the world's first binocular optical waveguides, weapons sight systems, infrared thermal imaging head-up displays, molecular reactors, signal processing, and transducer design. But he's working around all those topics since the 80s, and he knows what is a weapon. And when he finds something that the politics are saying, oh no, it's just for the lightnings, or it's just a camera for the security purpose, he knows that it's not exactly what they say. So this is also a video conference he did in 2018 for some kind of military audience. This is a little article I found about some work he did. It's in French. And all the links are in the description of the video. This is another article about Mark Steele. Maybe he did the article. Yes, he did it. It was in 2nd of May of 2024. So we can find a lot of things from Mark Steele on the internet. And I hope that the French audience is going to learn more thanks to him about all the topics I have already made you discover since 2 years. Okay, so now let's see his website. The sun is rising. Save us now. So you can also visit his website, and you have here a menu, and here you can see the evidence. You have articles, videos, etc. So downloads, posters. So he's very much engaged in the fight against these guys' weapons, and he knows how to find them. He knows how to give the proof and evidence that they are not what the politics say they are weapons. And he's even going to the court case, and he's going to talk about all of this in details by himself. So this is his Telegram channel. You can join. So I think it's Mark Steele 5G. This is a Substack page, and go there. He's doing a lot of publication here, a lot of articles and videos. So go to follow him on his Substack, and the Substack name is saveusnow.substack.com. And here it was his Brighton he was having some time before. Yeah, so I'm going to read maybe a little of this article. It's a few lines, and then I will make my guests come to the screen. So what I was writing at the time about Mark is a former British army expert. 5G is neither a telecommunication system nor a simple evolution of 4G. According to Mark, it is a weapon derived from military systems operating in millimeter waves, like surveillance radars capable of penetrating walls, used to attack the enemy. He gives the following evidence. Its very wide frequency band between 500 MHz and 300 GHz, latency close to zero, facilitating permanent instant surveillance, radar imaging of our interiors, reconstructed in 3D to better map them, facial recognition and autonomous vehicle, etc. Capacitors used at 150 volts instead of 5 volts to attack and endure and not to communicate. Massively MIMO antennas, hundreds of mini antennas targeting by beamforming, and electronic scanning targeting over 180 degrees. The ends of these antennas are covered with high-gain concave optical lenses for precise and powerful targeting. The cooling of the high temperatures thus released by liquid oxygen tanks near the mast. The bark of the trees burns and dries out in front of them. Deadly density of antennas every 200 meters because the antennas have too short a range, which shouldn't have disqualified them as a telecommunication system, but it is not. They could in fact cause asphyxiation by dissociating the oxygen molecules into two in the lungs with 60 GHz wave beams, and symptoms of our diseases by remotely resynthesizing viral DNA or RNA using biocodes sent at their characteristic frequencies. Note that trees constitute an obstacle to the propagation of 5G waves in cities, hence their systematic failing under false pretenses. And all this obviously falls within the framework of what we call smart cities, and is going to talk about London, which is the inspiration for the new city of Neom, currently being tested in Saudi Arabia, and which can then be used as a model to be applied everywhere. Deployment of 5G are already planned everywhere. 6G will follow, with use of frequency from 100 GHz to 3 THz, and 7G, which will go beyond and maybe around us. So let's introduce my guest. So this is Mark Steele on the screen. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Frederic. Good to be here. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So, what did you start to figure out when the politics around us were telling us we are going to install LED lights without a kind of protection and without the same kind of lightning or warmth that were used before, and you start to investigate because you were finding that something curious was happening, and these lights, and of course it's not only the lights, it's also the mobile antennas, and they were not exactly what the politics were saying. And it was using some kind of specification that you know for sure it's what we use usually for weapon system.
That's correct, Frederic. It all started my journey. I mean, early on, I'd worked on electronic weapon systems, and I always found it was quite interesting when you heard the government narrative that non-ionizing radiation is perfectly safe. There's not enough energy in that part of the spectrum. That always used to give me a bit of a laugh, because I'd worked on electronic weapons, and some of the most dangerous weapons are in the sub-gigahertz to 10 gigahertz part of the spectrum. So the allocated spectrum, which is supposed to be perfectly safe, is probably one of the most dangerous parts of it. And it's all about focus. It's about focus over time. It's about getting enough power density into a small area, and it's how a non-ionizing radiation laser can cut through stainless steel. Now, some of the sub-gigahertz frequencies are very long wave. They've got very long waves, and they can penetrate heavily through concrete and brickwork. So if I want a weapon to fire through a building, then I'm going to use something possibly, 600 megahertz, 900 megahertz. That would be quite interesting, especially if I was going to attack people in a city, in a large, let's say, densified cityscape where you've got a lot of buildings. If I wanted to attack people in that city, I would use a sub-gigahertz weapon. And what was sold from the 5G deployment, sub-gig. So it was a sub-gigahertz part of the spectrum, not the millimeter wave that everybody talked about. That was not true. Not saying it isn't true about the whole part of, because 5G goes from sub-gigahertz right up into the terahertz range, where you're using laser weapons, etc. So 5G is a large spectrum dominance. However, the main blanket coverage was sub-gigahertz, which told me someone was planning something very, very nefarious. So it all started for me when my council rocked up outside of my home and put in a new LED streetlight. And that streetlight had a Kelvin rating, 6,000 and 7,000 Kelvin. Now, what I mean by that, it's a brightness. It's the optical radiation brightness. The brighter the brightness, right, is a temperature value. Now, orange, we used to have streetlights that were orange. They were orange for a reason, because they've got a low Kelvin rate about 2000 Kelvin. All artificial light poses a risk. Natural light poses a risk. Artificial light poses a bigger risk, and that's why it's covered under a significant number of regulatory standards. So the standard for artificial light, diffuser, you have to have a diffuser, so you don't get point light source. So my council increased the Kelvin rate from 2000 up to 6000, no diffuser. The LED light, I mean, I got arrested for doing a breakdown. Someone sent me one. I did a video and I was arrested by the police because the state apparatus were in panic, where I explained that LED light was actually designed to cause bodily harm. The definition of a weapon. This was an electronic assault weapon. On the back of the electronic assault weapon, all comes from, low carbon emission zones. So bringing in technologies that use less energy, however, pose massive, unprecedented environmental risk to the people and all wildlife. The 450 nanometers, so it's the wavelength, the blue phosphor coated LEDs at 450 nanometers wavelength kill all pollinators. They attract moths, all insects, and kill them. And some of the moths are protected under international law. Pollinators are protected. We have an ecocide where we're seeing a total collapse of the insect population due to this particular part of the weapons deployment, because that's what they are. They've been designed to cause bodily and biological and environmental harm, and that's why they've been deployed. So anybody tells me that these LED streetlights are there to save the planet, just think the exact inversion. It's a total inversion of the truth. We're being lied to on a absolutely massive scale. We've got 5G transmitters, large monopoles being deployed all over the countryside, all over the country. In the UK, mass densification, and we're being told by the government that it's perfectly safe. And all I can tell you is that is a demonstrable falsehood. They're liars. These are professional, pathological liars we have in government, all of them. It doesn't matter whether you go to France, whether you go to Germany, it doesn't matter whether you go to England. They are born and trained liars, pathological liars. Everything that comes out their mouth is false. It's a fake narrative that puppets dancing to a string from globalists who are planning a mass murder. And now we know, we have proof positive that the equipment that's been deployed for the so-called C40 digital city is to kill. The cities, the digital 15-minute city plan, which is right across the whole world, is basically a kill box where electronic assault weapons, we have already discovered tens of thousands of electronic assault weapons hardware is currently deployed illegally in London, where we're being told that it's a camera to capture the license plate recognition of a vehicle, which is false. It is a total falsehood. These are laser detection ranging weapon systems to blind victims. They are also connected to radar guns, and those radar guns operate a phased array antenna element that can focus the beam and kill people in large numbers in a very short period of time. And these bits of hardware have been deployed unbelievably right across the whole of London. And I have a court case against Transport for London to bring this into the public domain, where they've denied that they've deployed what's called fusion technology. Fusion technology is a term attributed to battlefield interrogation equipment, which includes cameras, laser detection, ranging, and radar. So you've got three elements called fusion. That's what's being deployed illegally by Transport for London. However, what's even more outrageous, if it could get any more outrageous, when we've looked into the hardware, we've found it's actually controlled by a piece of hardware that was banned by the British government in 2022 because of its connection with the Chinese military. So it's got a controller, a high-speed modem manufactured in China by Huawei inside a laser detection ranging weapon that can kill people right across the whole of London. So it's really important. I think if we show some of the pictures,
so
would be very helpful.
actually, the sub-gigahertz frequencies, it's not very much known, but actually it's part of the 5G, and this is the weapon part of the frequencies of the 5G, because everybody thinks, oh yeah, it can go very high in frequencies, terahertz, etc. But actually, it's the sub-gigahertz that is posing the most problem, and this is something that has triggered your attention. And of course, the blue light of the LED, it's 440 nanometers wavelengths. That's correct?
450 nanometers, it's 666 terahertz.
Yes, 6.66 terahertz. And then we wonder how all of these things in their head is all inversion, of course.
Of course it is.
Yeah, so I can show the photographs here. Okay, so let me show here. So I don't know if this is the first one, or maybe it's another one for.
No, that's fine, Frédéric.
Okay.
Right. What I'm going to explain to people what that is. What actually happened? I went to London. I was very concerned about the what we were being told was a camera. So I went to London and I spoke to a number of what we call blade runners. These are the guys who are going out and basically removing these weapons from the streets. I was fortunate to become connected to one of the main blade runner characters, a guy called Matt Houston, and he was documenting the removal of this and basically putting it on social media. He's had a lot of very unwarranted, let's say, interest by the police and the security services due to his activity, because he's got a large following. Matt Houston got a large following, a British hero. And what
hero,
happened, put himself, total hero. So what happened? He then directed me to the people who were actually doing the removal. I went and spoke to them, and they showed me some of the hardware. When we took the front off this so-called camera, what I discovered, to my horror, was these 24 laser diodes. Now, on investigation, I discovered that the diode itself, these laser diodes, the diode itself was actually over 800 milliwatts. So that means that these are category 4. The category 4 lasers, extremely concerned about that. And that would, if I had a category 2 laser, which wouldn't be the most dangerous, but the fact that they're infrared, as these are, the infrared, I would have to have in a laboratory, I would have to have a warning on the door, so people would have to wear protective eyewear, because if this type of laser light enters the eye, it will damage the eyesight, it's central nervous system cancer, but would most certainly cause you to develop a cataract. So it could blind you. And that would be without weaponizing it. This is non-focality. So I've got 24 category 4s. If I bring them all together, then I get them, bring them into phase, and I can weaponize that to the point where it can kill. So that's the front of what we were told by.
We can see there is 4 red circles. So can you say a little about what does it mean exactly, those 4 circles here and here and here?
Yeah. Well, the red circle on the right hand side, that's the laser diode.
Okay.
Yeah. So we found that was over 800 milliwatts. The one just off center is a laser symbol. It's stamped on the hardware. It says it's a laser.
Yeah.
Right. The other one's basically, it's a guide about having your hand near electrical equipment. So we have this
is the laser phase array. Is this? That's
a phased array? That's a phased array laser.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a laser. This is a laser weapon.
So this is not something coming from a shoebox. This is something coming from a Blade Runner taking out this element from a real something real in the streets. Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. Yeah, and we only discovered that due to the work that the Blade Runners had done, where they chopped them down, where we could go in and have a look and actually get the photographs of this illegal equipment.
Okay.
So that was part of it. This is it in the front of the vision system. So you see the vision system at the front there. You've got a camera in one side, and you've got an infrared in the other, but there's the laser weapon, the laser phased array weapon in the center. So that's part of its laser detection range.
It's here. Yeah, we can see the phased array laser. It's here.
You can see it there. Yeah. But if you look at that picture, Frédéric, that picture tells a lot of story, because if you look at the aluminium block that unit's built with, it shows a lot of cooling fins. Now those cooling fins are there because that equipment's going to run hot.
Oh, yeah, that's not very normal.
It's not a camera.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like. Yeah. Well, that's why I was very concerned when I first saw this image. I thought that doesn't look like a camera to me, so I need to investigate. So I went to London to speak to some of these Blade Runner guys to get a more in-depth look, and I was absolutely shocked to the core. I mean, horrified. Once I had access to the internal parts of this, I was absolutely shocked to the core. So this is a weapon system. It's a laser weapon deployed right away across there are tens of thousands of these pieces of hardware right across London.
Yeah.
And it's connected to a radar weapon system, which we'll come on to in a moment. So if we can pull up the next, now that there is the high-speed control. It's basically the brains behind the equipment. It's a controller. It's a high-speed modem. So that's a wireless high-speed modem that was built in China. Now, on investigation,
so this is a 5G modem.
It's the delivery system, the laser delivery system. If it focuses a beam, it's classed as 5G. Okay, so the whole system is part of the 5th generation. Well, this is part of the kill box, the C40 city murderous 15-minute city agenda.
Centurion,
right? The technology, the brand name Centurion, right, is owned by a defense contractor called Thales. Thales partnered with Huawei. This is actually called Gemalto. Its brand name's Gemalto, even though the company is Thales, a defense contractor that build electronic assault weapons. Thales build electronic assault weapons. That's exactly what this is.
Okay.
This is the control and mind of the weapon. However, on further investigation, we have found that this is actually manufactured by the Chinese.
Okay.
It says made in China on the front, but we found out it's manufactured by Huawei, and Huawei was banned. They were banned in the UK in 2022 as a national security threat. However, this has ended up in this laser weapon. So you've got a Chinese-controlled laser weapon on the streets. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Trojan horse.
Absolutely. Well, it's called Neurostrike. And Neurostrike is connected to what was actually in the injections. The injections, the lanthanides, as well as the nanopores and carbon nanotubes were actually in the PCR test.
Okay.
So they basically, as soon as you took the PCR test, there was a transmitter, a 5G wireless body area network could actually look at your DNA and start to modify your DNA profile.
Okay.
I mean, this is really advanced. This is state of the art battlefield weapon systems to control and subdue the enemy. Well, your government has decided you're the enemy. You have become the enemy. They've injected you with a biological weapon system to track and trace termination technology. They've tested you with a PCR test, and that PCR test was based with a hydrogel carbon nanotube, but also with the nanopore, where they're monitoring and capturing the DNA profile, and they have to capture the DNA profile because that kind of modified to stop you being protected from this type of equipment. See, when you get an upgrade, your DNA is an antenna source.
Yeah.
So you're made it all kinds of what they really try to do. They've tried to destroy your DNA profile, stop you talking to source, so then you're weaker, and they can weaken you so that they can exterminate you. So this equipment, like I said, is manufactured. It's an illegal fitment, and we've discovered that. So, like I said, we've got a court case coming up in June this year. Here it is, this is all across London. So you'll see here you have a phased radar gun, the black one, number one. Then you've got the laser detection ranging technology. They're both aimed together. So you have a radar weapon guided in to the target using the laser weapon. So the laser weapon would identify the target. The radar weapon can fire through a vehicle. It can fire through a vehicle and kill the passengers. The grey box on the top is actually a vehicle radar system. Not safe, but it's not a weapon. So the grey box is a radar system. The black box there is a phased array directional weapon. Now we have anything from 24 to 100 small antennas inside there is a phased array weapon. And obviously we've already seen what's in the laser weapon on the left. So we've already seen the head in that, and that's got 24 laser diodes, category 4 laser diodes. So this is a full unadulterated electronic weapons program. Obviously they're not killing people yet, but that's its purpose. The purpose of this equipment is not to spy, not to track. It's here to kill.
And then we can see a little video showing how this is working.
That's it there, doing the send and receive. So you've got a pulse modulated frequency. Now, the fact these operate in the non-visible spectrum, extremely dangerous. These are category 4s. If there were category 2s, I'd have to have a warning. So no, you can't see it. We can see that in the video due to the camera. The camera can pick up the infrared, but you can't actually physically see that, which makes it even more dangerous because you can't avert your eyes from the lasers. You can't see them. So the eye can't see them. So what we've seen is a massive increase since the deployment of these weapons. We've seen a massive increase in damage to people's eyesight.
And do you think if we use electromagnetic meter, we can measure some kind of high volt per meters or some kind of can we have a clue that this is attacking us?
No.
If we have a kind of device, we can measure anything?
No. The frequency, the radar guns operate in a frequency that you will not easily be able to purchase. I paid a lot of money for a professional meter that can meter this, but the vast body of meters go up to about 7 gigahertz. These radar guns are 24 to 45 to 77 gigahertz.
Oh.
So the phased array radar on the top of that, just above the red light there, that's probably 24 gigahertz. So you wouldn't get a meter to be able to read it. The laser weapon, well, we can see it, and we know that category 4 lasers. I mean, what I can't get my head round, how did these criminals think they were going to get away with this? I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. And if anybody's out there, if you have a look around, here we have the court case. So I'm appealing against the Information Commissioner's Office and Transport for London, both responded. And the reason for that, the Information Commissioner's Office have said to me that I have to believe what I've been told by Transport for London, right? And they've told me that that laser weapon and the radar weapon doesn't exist. They've told me, I've asked them for the technical details of that equipment, fusion technology, and they've said to me it doesn't exist. And I should just accept that Transport for London are telling me the truth. Well, I've got the... He has a patent for an electronic weapon system, and as you can see, that's phased array. So we've got phased array electronic weapons deployed right away across London, unbelievably, but that's the patent for them. Yeah, so that's exactly what they've done. So we're going to have some, we're going to have an interesting, let's say, court hearing, but I've also got some other plans, because if you look at Mayor Khan of London, he is the chairman of the C40 City extermination plan. Because I now know this is proof positive that the 15-minute city, they're not planning to track you. They're not planning to control you. They're planning to control you, to kill you. This is a mass murderous agenda. These are weapon systems. They would degrade you and make you sick and ill in the first instance. We now know that these are specifically designed to kill. So it's a kill box. The whole C40 City. So we've got George Soros funded it. The chairman is Mayor Khan from London, and he's party to this, but he's the chairman for Transport for London. He's the mayor of London, and he's the chairman for the C40 City, which anybody involved in this equipment, in these C40 cities, we need to stop funding these criminals, because what they're doing, they're putting this equipment up. If anybody wants to have a look around, your traffic infrastructure, we need to start taking notice about what's being put on pedestrian crossings. We need to start, because these people are planning to kill us. And fantastic job in London. The Blade Runners have done an absolute unbelievably fantastic job, because if it hadn't have been for them, I wouldn't have been able to do so, see inside this equipment and find out exactly what it actually is, and not what we're being told it is, because we're being lied to by these pathological liars in government. I mean, the whole safe and effective, and these are all interconnected. They're connected with the injections. The lanthanide contamination in the injection specifically is activated using near-infrared. That near-infrared, it's 850 nanometers wavelength, specifically activates the contamination that was in all of the COVID-19 injections, as well as the PCR test. The PCR test had this nanopore, which also, was to capture and basically deduce your DNA profile. As soon as you stuck that up your nose, it was monitoring your DNA profile immediately, because they've got a remote system, a remote 5G wireless body area network that was talking to the antenna that they'd stuck up your nose to track your DNA down. I mean, this is really state of the art. This is these, you know, it's so advanced. I understand a lot of people will have difficulty understanding this, and that's why I always say to people, go to the Save Us Now Substack and just, you know, watch, just get a little bit at a time. I do small 10-minute videos. This sometimes can be far too much for people to, you know, to wrap their head around, because like I said, I've been working on this for many, many years. That's a Substack channel. Like I said, I'd encourage everybody to go to that, where what we do a lot of technical, in-depth information on the bioweapons injections, the connectivity, because these do not work alone. They specifically work in conjunction with each other, right? If you've had an injection, you must get those nanoparticles removed, right? If you've made a mistake. So we do lots of, you know, at least 4 or 5 posts per week we put on there, and it ranges from the whole climate hoax, why the climate hoax. Got to remember, the whole, you know, the climate hoax narrative was all about bringing in the electronic weapon systems. The whole COVID virus hoax was to inject you with the nanoparticulates and the way that they were going to react to the 5G weapon systems. And these, now what we've now deduced, these kill boxes that they're now putting up in cities. And so the whole city plan, this 15-minute city plan, we can now absolutely 100% confirm it's a kill box. And that's their plan. And this is the globalist. So the globalist plan, shutting down the farmers, trying to, you know, starve people out of the countryside, all of the things that they're trying to do, all the plans that they're making are all to get people into a city so they can ultimately be exterminated, sterilized. Electric vehicles, the driving electric vehicles, the motor, the sitting on top of electric motor causes cancer, but also sterilization, especially in little girls. So all of the documents are there. I do presentations. There's a few presentations on there. And if anybody needs any substantive support or extra information, just get in touch with Save Us Now. We've got a team of people who will only be too happy to assist, to send out this information. We do all of this work, right, for free. Any information that you require, get in touch with us. It's info@saveusnow.org.uk. We will assist. We'll bring you up to speed on this criminal act and this attack. I mean, you know, living in France must be fantastic, because such a big country, it's going to take these criminals an awful lot longer to get round and get this equipment deployed. But if you're living in London, or you've got friends and family in London, number one, stop paying tax, stop funding the criminals, and start taking action. It's extremely important. The more action we get. I mean, there was some guys got arrested just like about a month ago. They were going equipped. They had cutters, gloves, walkie-talkies, balaclavas. There were some of these weapon systems had been removed. The police arrived, got arrested. Within a few days after I'd spoke to them, the next minute, there have been no further action. The police can't take them to court, because if they take them to court, then it's going to become more in the public domain that what's being deployed on top of the people of London is a demonstrable electronic assault weapon to commit mass murder. Nothing more. I mean, I had a lot of trouble over the 5G. I had a lot of problems in the courts, police. I had the councils. I had the government try to gag me. That all failed But I can tell you now, trying to explain to a judge the dangers of 5G is a lot more complicated than me explaining to a judge that laser weapon is a weapon system. That's not going to be difficult for me at all, because I've got the technical details of it. So that's not going to be complicated. It's, in fact, Transport for London, I've got to take my hat off to them. They've made it extremely easy for me to expose these globalist cult members, and let's get them stopped. I mean, it is absolutely crucial that we we'll get these criminals stopped before they get any further on in that plan. And the same criminals want us to go and fight against the Russians. I mean, this is absolutely mind-boggling. You've got governments, you've got corrupted governments who are planning a war in Ukraine, and they want us to go and fight it after trying to murder us, after trying to inject us with biochemical weapons, and they've killed a lot of people. Their intent was to kill a lot more. Remember this, their weapons aren't working. If their weapons had worked, there'd be a lot more dead, there'd be a lot more catastrophic sickness and ill health. I mean, the British government's plan was to murder over 3 to 4 million from 2019 to 2020. And it didn't happen because the contamination that was in the flu shots that contaminated the flu injections with tungsten. And that tungsten didn't work. So they didn't kill as many people as what they expected. In fact, Matt Hancock had to actually get the drugs. He had to get the midazolam and morphine from France to kill over 50,000 people in nursing homes so they could keep the lockdown going. I mean, that's how bad it is. But look, we've got the evidence now. And you see the problem that they've got, it's not an opinion. I can confirm the technical details of that weapon system. So it's all there for people to, to go and have a look at, get your information, get your leads, and start getting active. Really important, people get active.
Yeah. And I can show as a continuation of what you just said about the connection between the 5G, the nano, the smartphone, the satellites, mobile antenna, etc. etc. There is a kind of connection, and of course, if they can catch your private data or even your DNA information, it can go through their network, and then they can have what they need to better attack you later. And this is what Julian Assange was informing us about in 2018, and he got arrested a few months later. So let's listen just 15 seconds of what Julian Assange was warning us about.
It's less. And in terms of the Internet of Things, there's research prototypes now, which I assume are being used by intelligence agencies, of very small electronic circuits that you can just put in paper or put and paint or on the walls that are powered by the GSM stations. And they operate as the GSM radio wave passes through them. It gives them enough power for a very small amount of time to do things. So obviously that tendency is going to continue. It's not like the Internet of Things. It's if you like, intelligent evil dust scattered everywhere, like confetti in everything. So I think it's increasingly hard for human beings to work out how to deal with that. And the only way I can see is that we've got to securitize this problem.
Yeah, so that was Julian Assange a few months before he got arrested, and I think he was talking about some kind of top secret topics that he got arrested maybe because of this. Of course, he's talking about smart dust, and then smart dust it is also the nano graphene, etc., and hydrogel, and it's also in the injection. It's everywhere. So he's revealing the weapon system they are using. It's from nanoscale to big antennas and satellites and ARPs and etc. We can even say that chemtrails are part of this. And I can remember the audience that I had written an article in 2023, and it was making the list of all such weapons. So we were talking about those scientists who were warning us long ago about this, Havana syndrome. We can see the police is using some kind of ADS system. It's part of the technology used against us to attack us. This is a kind of summarize of what tools they are hiding in the infrastructure to attack us with the microwaves, etc. This is ARP. There are many ARP. This is a mobile antenna. This is the 5G we were talking about with Mark Steele, the expert. And of course, there is also the French PMR telecommunication that has adopted the Tetra system, and Tetra system is used everywhere. And it's also a way to target the military, the police, etc. And when they are targeted, then they can be used to control us more. Smart meters, LED lights, and then we have also the directed energy weapons systems. DEW. This is part of the same system. Then we can add the ice cube neutrino detector in Antarctica. It's probably one of the weapon in this ecosystem. And we have also conductive energy weapons that are using the electrical infrastructure and the electrical appliance and cable that we have in the home, and they are not protected against radiation. So all this can be used to target us, and the chemtrails are being used. And then we can see the nanos inside the body. It's outdated knowledge, intra-body nano network, because it's a design that was studied maybe 40 years ago, but now they have gone a little farther. And of course, there is AI and there is smart dust, etc. So in this article, it was the list of the situation, and they are maybe using a kind of simulation with an AI to have a map of the world, of the beings and the humans, and they can see wherever we go, whatever mood state we are in. So this is kind of crazy things, but this is the reality of 2024 and then 2025. And it's leading us to mind control, body control, and then, of course, targeted individual, and then electromagnetic torture, experimentation. Yeah, and DARPA, of course, is there everywhere. Behind the scene with all these weapons development. And of course, there is for the targeted individual, there is the Truman Show, otherwise called the gang stalking, harassment, etc. It's the whole package. So this is what we can see from one point of view. It's a control system, control grid, but it's also the 5th generation cognitive warfare. The NATO is doing this with the 6th army. They are attacking the brains of the people. So this is the full control, full dominance, full spectrum dominance. And AI is there, of course, and transhumanism, and maybe the singularity has already happened, and everybody is connected to a kind of hive minds. And then, this AI is controlling everything. And this is the diagram I made with targeting industrial complex. But is this only a targeting industrial complex or a genocide industrial complex? So this is the question. We don't know exactly if they just want to experiment on us and to control us, or if they are really going to plan to kill us at the end, or maybe the survivors from these electromagnetic weapons, they will send them to the real wars like Ukraine.
I think they're trying to kill us, to be fair, Frederick. I've looked at the capacity. I mean, the 5G monopoles, so we've got the electronic weapons they've deployed right away across London covertly. Most cityscapes have that type of equipment. The outputs, the capacitance. You see, if you look inside some of this equipment, what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a weapon, I'm looking for what's called rad hardening. So where you're going to see a lot of power output. And what I've deduced from this equipment, it is rad hardened. So it's a weapon. So that's your rad hardened weapons, because there's going to be a lot of energy there, and you've got to protect the electronics from being burnt out. So these are rad hardened technologies. The outputs are catastrophic. I mean, the laser weapon, we've calculated 174 watts in the beam. So when you bring it together as a phased array, and you bring the phase together, and we can get 174 watts. We've calculated that in that laser. I can kill a person with 4. The monopoles, the Huawei technology in the monopoles that was banned in 2022, which was Still C, came in another brand called Ericsson, that basically just stuck their name on it, and it's been deployed right away across the West. What we found in the technical details of the Huawei documents, that the beam wave could deliver a 385,000 watts in 385. I mean, you know, a lot of people who don't understand what a watt is. The maximum I can expose a person to is 1 milliwatt. That's 1,000th of a watt, and that's for no more than 6 minutes, because it's a cooking value. I'll cook you to death. It's 61 electron volts, 1 milliwatt, 61 electron volts. Just think about that. So I've got an antenna that can deliver 385,000 watts in a beam. And somebody tells me that 5G, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and 5G is for telecommunications. I mean, it's mind-boggling how ridiculously idiotic people can be. If I can show you a technical parameter for an antenna, and it has the delivery system of 385,000 watts in the beam, I can tell you now, that's not for telecommunications. That's just someone's trying to murder you. They're not trying to control you. And I believe what they needed to do, they needed to capture your DNA profile, because they needed to modify it. And the reason for that is because they've been trying to kill us for many, many years. And we have a protection. No weapon formed against us, right, will prosper. Okay? It's written in the Bible.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because your DNA is upgraded. So when they bring a weapon to mark, we should be dying when we're in our 20s. They're poisoning the food, the nanoparticulates, the nanoparticulate project you were talking about before. It's called Nano Domestic Quell. It was a DOD project to contaminate food, water, all drinks, contaminate everything with these nanoparticles to kill you, because high explosives, when high explosives are used, you sometimes see nanoparticulates in the environment. They're not necessarily there. There is certain circumstances when you can get these nanoparticles, but when high explosives are used, you do see a residual of nanoparticulates. Those nanoparticulates are being shown in soldiers to cause cancer. So they know that nanoparticulates are dangerous. So what they've been doing is called Nano Domestic Quell. It was a project linked with network-centric warfare. These are two projects linked together, defense industry projects. And the nanoparticulates, what happens? They contaminate the body. Now, this has been going on for years. It's in your water, your food, your drinks, all the big Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all these companies check all of the what's in the cans, right? And make sure, you check them with a magnet and see how magnetic they are because they've got these graphite ferritic nanomaterials in them, which then increase the toxicity. So we knew from high explosives that these nanoparticles cause cancer. Now what they've done, they've actually upped that game a bit because none of us dying. So what they've now decided to do is stick nanopores and carbon nanotubes up your nose on a hydrogel, and then they've wanted to inject you with a graphite ferritic nanomaterial track trace termination technology that absolutely desperate to kill us. The problem is we're just not dying. We're not dying quick enough. We're not the difficulty is it's immense. They're trying to kill us, and we're surviving. In fact, we thrive on it. I'm thriving on it. They're trying to kill us. We're thriving on it. This goes back to a lot of people's perception. It's going to get pretty deep now, right? This goes back to spiritual warfare, and you have to remember we are electromagnetic radiation beings. We're made out of light. We're God's creation. So how do you destroy this light emitting entity? See, the biological structure and habit is an illusion. There's no mass. It's like the Matrix, the Matrix sort of thing. It's an illusion. So consequently, how do you destroy that? Now, that's why it tells you in the Bible, no weapon formed against us will prosper. Now, the only time it prospers is when you tacitly agree. So I might talk about these horrendous, horrific issues, but the reason why you will be destroyed is because you've turned your face against God. God created you, right, with his armor, right, to protect you, and you've turned your face against him. So consequently, you're going to die. I've got no fear at all, none. I mean, look at this. I mean, the things I talk about, most people would destroy them. Just the word, just telling them what's happening. And the only reason it would destroy them is because they've got no faith. They've got no faith. You have to remember, we win. We win this battle against these satanic cults. We win. So that's people need to be positive, but they're also, if you've made a mistake, redemption. Redeem what you've done if you've made a mistake, right? Because the doors always open. And that's why people should never judge. People, because obviously this is all just one absolutely, it's like the best horror show you've ever been invited to, and you're the main actor, if you know what I mean. So I'm quite enjoying it at the minute. I know there's going to be quite a lot of people aren't going to enjoy it, mainly some of these cult members. I've got this court case, which is going to be pretty problematic.
So
and I've also
do you have the date of the court case?
The court case will be on the 25th of June.
Okay.
25th of June, but I've got a little plot. I've got something up my sleeve, which I can't really talk about publicly yet, but
so will it be on TV, the court case?
No, it'll be. I think people can sign in.
Okay.
What I'll do, Frédéric, I'll put it on my Substack. I mean, I don't know how many people they're going to allow to. It'll be It's an online case. You're not allowed to record it. You've got to ring the court up. You've actually got to ring the court, but it's a public event, and I think there'll be a lot of interest in this.
Okay. So I'm looking at the chat. Someone is telling, yeah, it's really scary. Okay, so and then maybe what can we say to the public? What can we do about this? I think we just did what we have to do. It's explaining and telling the truth, and because the knowledge is the power, and of course they are trying to modify our DNA, etc. But maybe we are still connected to the source and to God. This is the protection that we may have. We have to say no. We have to say we don't consent. We have to take back the control of ourself, and we have to go back to the source and to God. And maybe this is the faith that we have to have, and then maybe this is the way we can defeat the beast.
Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't said it better myself, Frédéric. That's exactly what it is, and that's why nobody should fear. If you have faith, why fear? You know, this is just just a fantastic story. It's a fantastic journey, and we are now exposing the satanic cult that have controlled this world for thousands and thousands of years. Satan's time's over, and we're going to be in a far better place, and it's not going to be that far away. You can see what's happening in France. You've got a French, is he prime minister? I mean, what is he? I mean, who is he?
President.
He's a president. He's a president. I mean, what is he?
Yeah, we don't know.
These people have been, they're being picked. The puppets are being picked by Satan to control this narrative. Now, as he tries to push for World War III, there's more and more resistance is going to grow, and people are just going to go, no. And then the whole thing's going to come out about who we're really dealing with, right? These satanic cults who torture, traffic children, eat children. Putin said it. Putin said on national TV, the West is run by flesh-eating Satanists.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
He's telling the truth. Whenever in all history has a world leader turned around and said that the West is run by satanic cult who drink people's blood and eat human flesh, whenever. I mean, it's like, that is a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm very positive. I'm very positive about
you think it's the end of their time is coming?
I think that the Bible says their end of time is coming. Yeah. Definitely. And I'm 100%. Every system that they've touched, they've corrupted to the core. The courts, the police, the regulatory bodies, the authorities. I mean, every single charity in the United Kingdom corrupted. Every single authority corrupted. The government corrupted. Every single thing is it's like an infestation.
So why going to the courts? Is it for educating the people?
Absolutely. The court is, we bring light. We've had some fantastic results in the courts. And you've got to remember, the judge that we're going to be speaking to, he's probably, there's a high probability he's been injected. When he's exposed to the fact that the council, the Greater London Authority, MERCI, is deployed an electronic assault weapon that's going to kill him in particular, he's not going to be happy. And why would anybody? If he wants to commit suicide, look, if we fail in this attempt, I've got lots up my sleeve. I'm not stopping. That's just what this is. This is one battle. That court case is one battle. It's not the war. We are going to win the war. If I lose that battle, I've got another battle. I've got battles all over. I've got court cases where I'm assisting people who have removed this equipment, where they've actually had to defend themselves from the police. I've got loads of cases. So I mean, there's just one case. This is one case that's going to be a serious impediment to the cult.
Okay.
Right, and there will be others, and I've got other things up my sleeve which I can't talk about now, but I am going to push on. Unfortunately for them, I have the knowledge. I've got God who's assisting, right, and I'm going to take these criminals and these satanic cult members down the hole to hell where they belong. So I'm totally, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to do them as much damage as I possibly can. And the world's there for everybody. I'm not saying, this isn't just me. Everybody out there, get on and do it. Get out, leaflets drop, make communications with local authorities. I mean, in France in particular, local mayors, go to your local mayors, ask them about the LED lights they're deploying, ask them about the 5G. There's been a lot of success in the French courts There was a French farmer who had 5G taken out from a field that he was at because all these calves were being killed. They were being bone deformed. Well, you know, so there's, once people realize what's going on, this whole thing is going to fall. All these cult members are going to fall to pieces. And not only that, it's going to kill them. You see, if you look at the support, this cult, right, that has its puppets, they've all been injected. By the end of this year, the vaccine-induced AIDS will be catastrophic. We see it every day. There's more and more people dying from it. That's just the start. These people who are dying today, these people who are being sick today, they are collateral damage. That weapon that's been deployed in London can kill every single, I think about it, you've got tens of thousands of that pieces of equipment. It can kill, I can kill hundreds a second from one piece of equipment. You've got tens of thousands of them. You can kill millions of people in hours right across the whole of London. Within an hour, you could kill hundreds of millions of people. There's only, I think, about 8 million in London.
So is it only in London or anywhere else in the UK?
All over. Cities, Leeds, Newcastle, Birmingham, Manchester, right across the whole country. Yeah. Bristol, all over.
So is there any possible hope from the politics if the Prime Minister of UK could be a new one, or if the President of France could be a new one, or if the Chancellor of Germany could be a new one, maybe in Italy, or it's already a new lady. So even in the US, it's a new president. So can we have some kind of hope from the politics?
I don't hold much hope for politics. I think where Donald Trump's done a fantastic job just by he's thrown everything up in the air. Yeah. And what we're going to see over the next 12 months, we'll see all these things starting to filter down and everything will start fitting into its place. Now, the fact that he's thrown everything up in the air, this is our opportunity. This is when we're going to create more damage to the system. That's when it's really important. Every single person. This isn't down to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's done a fantastic job at disrupting the system. We now have to take that opportunity and capitalize on it. And that's right across the world. Anyone in the world. The New World Order is in tatters. And the New World Order's plan was to exterminate us. Their plan is in tatters. We have to take this opportunity in any way that we can. I mean, I was talking to one of the Blade Runners the other day, and I said, if someone murdered the mayor of London, if they murdered him, they'd have a defence in law. They'd actually have a defence. We would go to court with a defence that he was trying to murder 6 million or 8 million across London. And the reason he had to be murdered was to bring this into the public attention. So the court case, the government wouldn't be able to silence it. But that would be the defense. You see, the defense of duress, the defense of the fact that the state apparatus have deployed an electronic assault weapon absolutely on top of you, the fact they've deployed 5G, and the government told all councils you cannot carry out an environmental impact analysis, which breaches the primary legislation, do no harm. So it breaches the primary legislation where the government have allowed, the deep state have allowed the deployment, and it is a criminal offence. These are terrorists. The whole net zero is a terroristic term. The climate change, the defence industry have got full control of the weather by 2025. Stratospheric aerosol injection, ionospheric radiators, that's what control the weather. So what's this global warming about? I mean, the Birmingham City Council put 107,000 transmitters on top of They're in a sub-gig 868 megahertz. They put 107,000 of them on every single streetlight, switched them on in 2019, saw a temperature increase across the city of 1 to 2 degrees centigrade and called a climate emergency. Well, it just microwaved everybody to death. They're not dead yet, but they are getting dead. Birmingham City Council, Birmingham is bankrupt. And the reason it's bankrupt is because there's so many people are now sick. They can't keep up with the sickness rates. There's 500,000 people who can't get sickness benefits because they can't be seen because there's too many. There's too many. Everybody's getting sick. And the reason they're getting sick is 5G, light emitting LED street lights, 5G, and the contamination that was in the shot or the PCR test. Everybody's getting sick. So the fact is, that everybody is getting sick, but your directors for public health in all local authorities, so local councils, etc., they have directors for public health, and they are ignoring the fact that you've got this massive increase in ill health and death. And the fact that they're doing that, that means they're party to a conspiracy. They're part of a conspiracy because otherwise they would have to be doing something about it, and they're not. It's like the cataracts in London. I don't know if I sent you the picture there before, if you want to dig that out, Frédéric, about the increase in people suffering cataracts. Infrared causes cataracts. So we've got this deployment across the country of these infrared laser weapons, and the next minute we'll go from 1,000 over a 10-year period, no more than 1,000 people a year, and they're all of a sudden 15,500 within a year, and nobody's asking any questions. I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous. What do we pay these people's wages for? Well, unfortunately, they've probably taken the injection, and unfortunately, they'll probably be dead soon because it is coming. I mean, we did predict, probably the end of this year, there's going to be larger and larger numbers of sickness and ill health. And anecdotally, that's what we're seeing at the minute.
Okay, so I have just received a video from you. So let's see. This video it's the last one you sent me. So that's
brilliant. Yeah, this is how you deal with electronic assault weapons on the streets of your cities.
Okay. Let's see it again. Yeah. So yeah,
well,
maybe what
direct action. They're causing a major hiatus because that weapon is required for the track, trace, and termination of the general population, and unfortunately, the publicity, the media coverage, this is a major problem to the criminals who are planning to kill us.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe there is a little chance that the new politicians in place can help us a little. Then maybe we can see some progress this year. Maybe if we are lucky, we can see the end of these terrible things by the summer or by this Christmas. Let's hope. And then maybe we are going to conclude. Yes, maybe some politics can help, but I think that the people have the power and God is with us. So we will win, definitely.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Listen, when God's with you, who can be against you? I mean, that's as simple as that. I mean, I would like to be one of these cult members. It's not looking very good for them, I can tell you.
Yeah. So let's pray with my little bell. It's bringing the Holy Spirit amongst us. So let's pray that this satanic world ends by this year. We are all doing the effort tonight just by listening to Mark Steele when we know we can.
Absolutely, 100%. We'll have to manifest our win. We have to manifest our win. And this is why these Satanists are so bent on, are so determined to kill us, is because they know we are the power. We are the ones that manifest this reality. And they know that they're losing the they're losing the narrative. So we just got to keep on pushing everybody.
Okay, so thank you, Mark Steele, for being my guest of tonight, and I hope that we will see the court case going on this summer in the UK with you. We will get in touch. So thank you so much, and bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. God bless you, Frédéric.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's the end of the show, and then I'm going to put my little music. And I will try to make another show with Professor Rippelstein after 2 weeks. I think it's possible to do it. And I hope to be able to invite another whistleblower. It's a TI from the UK. And let's see if I can get invited Barry Trower on my show. And maybe Morpheus.fr, the website with Frédéric Morin, will come also at the end of March or beginning of April. Et donc je vous dis bonsoir mesdames et messieurs, la traduction de cette vidéo avec les sous-titres en français sera republiée dans un jour ou deux, si j'ai le temps de m'en occuper, parce que j'ai des choses à faire cette semaine, et je vous dis peut-être dans une semaine ou deux avec le professeur Rippelstein, et puis peut-être après un TI, un individu ciblé de Grande-Bretagne qui pourrait venir dans mon émission, et peut-être Barry Trower et Frédéric Morin de Morpheus pour nous parler du dieu AI à la semaine prochaine, peut-être, ou dans 15 jours. Merci à tous, au revoir, et revenez voir dans un jour ou deux, il y aura la même vidéo avec les sous-titres qui sera remis partout. Au revoir.